Well, let's bring in Sam Rose. He's the Director of UNRWA Affairs in Gaza. He joins us now from Oxford. Sam, I see that the GHF is saying that today's aid distribution took place without incident. And we know of at least 3 deaths, dozens of injuries. So let me start by asking you what you make of what's happened over the last couple of days.
I mean, it's been horrific what's happened over the last couple of days in a war, in a conflict that we thought couldn't plumb new depths and things couldn't get any worse. We're seeing a new side of that in terms of what has happened, the killing of these people, the desperate people trying to get aid, the response to that, an outright denial of any incidents, and the fact that this is what people have been reduced to, literally to herded animals in pens. These scenes that we're seeing on our screens, on our phones, if these are not enough to prompt action from those that have the influence to take action, then we're lost. I mean, we cannot comprehend anymore what's going on and what people are being put through in Gaza. It's completely unimaginable and completely unacceptable.
Well, Colin was just telling us there about the principles that you abide by as a UN agency in aid distribution. What does that look like in practice? Can you talk us through perhaps the practicalities here, especially given UNRWA's experience, long experience in Gaza?
Sure. I mean, look, in UNRWA's food distributions in Gaza, you have the longest uninterrupted, large-scale food distribution operation of any UN agency anywhere in the world, dating back to 1950, completely uninterrupted. We bring the food in directly. We take it from our warehouses to distribution centers, where families are then receive messages at community level, or more recently through mobile phones or on notice boards, telling them to come, that their food is ready, that they can come along. They come along to those distribution centers with ID cards. They take the food and they cook it and they take it home and they use it. And this is a mechanism, as you said, the UN has 400 distribution points around Gaza. UNRWA, we have close to 100. Those numbers are changing because of the situation on the ground and the movement flow. And we're also able to adapt to changing population flows, as your correspondent said, providing food to people where they are, as close as possible to where they are. And this includes during COVID-19, we were actually doing household distributions to limit the exposure of families to risk. So we're able to provide food large scale, efficiently, in a dignified as possible manner. And that's not what we're seeing right now.
You mentioned a dignified manner. I mean, given the sheer scale of what we're talking about right now in Gaza, the levels of desperation, the levels of need, what would you need to be able to do any kind of an orderly food distribution that was not only orderly but safe?
I mean, we need exactly what UNRWA and WFP and others were able to do during the ceasefire. UNRWA alone, we reached 1 million people in a week in Gaza. WFP were also distributing large scale across the Gaza Strip. We need safe passage. We need an opening of the borders so that the aid that has been paid for by donors that's waiting outside, thousands of trucks, is able to come in. And we need to use our established distribution networks, distribution points, to get that aid to people as quickly as possible. The gravity of the situation here is such that we need to throw all resources that we have at this problem. It's the food agencies, it's the kitchens, it's the bakeries, it's the commercial supplies, it's everything. Look, there are lots of rules in a crisis. One thing you don't do in a crisis is start afresh. We do not have the time. The people of Gaza do not have the time, the women and the children and others. And the world will not look kindly upon us if we turn a blind eye on this. We have, as I say, the infrastructure to do it. We need to be allowed to do our jobs.
As you say, the GHF has 4 distribution points, and I believe not all of them are even functioning. They're all also in the south, and nothing's making it to the north of the Strip. Do you share the concerns that others have expressed about the use of aid as a weapon of forced displacement here?
I mean, absolutely. These are the concerns that have been expressed in our objections to the model. and these humanitarian principles that we talked about around reaching people where they are. And we also need to get away from reducing this to a box of food. People need to be able to access that food, but they also need basic services. They need water, they need fuel, they need shelter, they need healthcare, all the other things that are not being accounted for in this model. So it fails on every single count once you start to look at it, once you start to pull it apart. We need to get the food to everyone as quickly as possible.
Sam Rose there, the Director of UNRWA Affairs in Gaza. Thank you so much for joining us on the Al Jazeera NewsHour.
Thank you.